Regular IR verbs, our last conjugation pattern that we have to memorize. So IR verbs are the second most common group of French verbs after ER. The third most common is RE and the least common is irregular. The nice thing about IR verbs is that they do conjugate regularly. So we follow the exact same two steps that we've seen before. Finding the stem by dropping the last two letters, in this case the IR from the infinitive, and then add the endings. So our IR endings are IS, IS, IT, ISSONS, ISSEZ, ISSENT. So let's look at some examples. So in class we did finir, to finish. So our stem is going to just be fin, the F-I-N, our infinitive minus the final IR. Now all we have to do is add our endings. IS, IS, IT, ISSONS, ISSEZ, ISSENT. So remember what we talked about in class about the pronunciation for this set being a little bit different. Our entire first column will all sound the same. Fini, je finis, tu finis, il finit, elle finit, on finit. However, our plural column sounds totally different. Nous finissons, vous finissez, and il, elle finissent. The il and the elle will sound the exact same as the singular column, but with an S sound on the end. So we go from je finis to ils finissent. Let's look at another example, choisir. So choisir is a great example of one that tends to trip students up because our stem is going to end in the letter S. Choisir minus the final IR gives us CHOIS. That's perfectly normal and not a big deal at all. We still keep our stem, we leave the S, we don't change anything about it, and we just add our endings. IS, IS, IT, ISSONS, ISSEZ, ISSENT. The trick to these is remembering the pronunciation rules. So remember that if you have one S between two vowels, we follow the rose rule. That means that this S is going to make a Z sound, just like in the word rose. So we see this a lot with our IR verbs where the stem ends in an S, because the letter before it is almost always, not entirely, but often a vowel, in this case an I, and every single one of our stems begins with the letter I, so it's automatically sandwiched between two vowels. So for example, it would be je choisis, tu choisis, il choisit, elle choisit, on choisit. However, when we look at our plurals, we have two different sets here. Our initial ISI is still there, however, it's followed by two S's. If you have two S's, then they're going to stay as an S regardless of if they're sandwiched by vowels or not. So we have CHOISI, so our first S will make a Z sound, but it's ISS. Even though the next letter is a vowel in every single case, either an O or an E, since there are two S's, we no longer care. Choisissons. The first S becomes a Z, and the second set stays as an S. Choisissons. Choisissez. Choisisse. So, your questions for your devoir. Conjugate the following regular IR verbs for the given subject pronouns. So we have je and grandir, to grow up or to get taller. Elle and nourrir, to feed or to nourish. Nous and rougir, to blush or to become red. Il réfléchir, to reflect. And vous obéir, to obey.